Korn, spelt with a backwards R, are a new metal band from California. Although apparently they hate the genre title new metal, they claim to also not be metal but to be funk. But they're not fooling me. I think they're definitely metal. They were born out of the ashes of a funk metal band called LAPD in 1993, and they're still going with only one member change in 30 years, which is pretty impressive. And they have released 14 studio albums. Hi, my name's Dan. So this is the third album by Korn. I have a copy of this. Back in the 90s, I had a bit of an exploration into some of the new NEW metal bands that were coming out at the time. It's partly fueled by quite a lot of watching of an MTV channel that had alternative music on it. I wouldn't say I know it particularly well. I have listened to it a few times, but it's not kind of lodged itself in my memory. So let's describe the music. This is kind of gentle, light, fluffy, pastoral music. No, I'm kidding. It really isn't. It's the opposite end of the spectrum from that. It's metal, and it's strong, kind of heavy, crunchy stuff. So it's often got strong grooves to it. They claim to be a funk band. I think there are elements of funk in here. Part of that is kind of the rhythmic grooves that they have. And part of it is that sometimes the bass has got slap bass used on it. They're quite fond of odd processing and odd sounds, bits of electronica. They're sometimes chuggy in the kind of very archetypal, what I think of as archetypal metal feel these days. Some of it's kind of a bit more slow, kind of doom metal feel. They're apparently using detuned guitars, which gives it this kind of heavier, lower sound. And then there's actually quite a lot of it is more stripped back than kind of the full-on metal. And they tend to use weird sounds in that. And sometimes they've got some quite curious, what I think are probably electronic sounds. Some of them are obviously guitar sounds. Some of them are bass sounds. But there's a lot of interesting processing going on here. There are elements of hip hop, which is mostly to do with rap. There are other kind of elements of the sounds that kind of bring some hip hop feel into it as well. But they're apparently leading the charge here into new metal, spelled NU, which is and was a kind of amalgamation of hip hop and metal. There are, as I said, bits of funk. There are poppy elements. I know it's a bit of a strange thing to say about a metal thing, but it's got that immediacy. It's got that um, tendency to give you things that you kind of hook onto quite quickly. It's not really got singable choruses and things like that, so it's not full on. There's only kind of little bits of it. There's shades of grunge, I would say, but not a lot. They reminded me at times, just in the way that they structure things, of the band Garbage, but they're heavier than Garbage. So the singing ranges from kind of fairly quietish and highish and kind of pained to growly to shouting to rap and quite a lot of things in between. He's got quite a variety of things that he can do with his voice, which is good, and that goes along with quite a variety in the way that the music's approached and the different combinations of feel that they've got there. They've got some guest rappers on here as well, which tend to be then more of a focus on rap where they've got a guest. Compared with some new metal, is not too emphasized on shouty rap. I have a bit of an issue with new metal that's all about the shouty rap. I don't really like it that much. I'd rather have other stuff in there. What else can I say? The subject matter is pretty dark. There's quite a bit of aggression. There's bits that are hard to hear, of course, as well. There's angst, there's pain, there's bits about abuse, and there's quite a bit of stuff about explicit sexual topics. It's definitely not safe for work. There's a reasonable amount of fruity language going on in here. And I feel this is making me feel a little bit like a hypocrite because I tend to pick up on this a lot with rap albums and say how terrible it is. And this doesn't mean that I feel like I want to condone that kind of content on this album, but despite it, I do quite like it as an album. There's a lot. I think that's because I like it musically so much. There's a lot of stuff to get into musically. It's got a great sense of urgency, and it's very much kind of in your face and very up, energetic kind of metal. So, yeah, I quite like this. I actually quite like it quite a bit. As always, I'd love to know what you think of this album. So please do give me your thoughts, opinions, experiences, anything that is relevant to this album. You know, some people leave essays, some people just leave a couple of words. It's all very welcome. And that's it from me for now.
I should have known it from the start what I was in for. She break her tenfold, she copied, we exchanged some info. Called her on the telly, conversation was simple. And plain Jane, my game, retained the tempo. And things, no shame, two spark turned into flames. Nipples in the park, just dancing in the rain. Hook me with this fix and look to drain my aim, some never retain.